All right. It is July 17th, and it's a Wednesday. And welcome to National University Management 309 Principles of Management in Organizations live session. All right. Well, we are on live session two. So that means we're about wrapped up with our second week. Um, Man, I tell you, you blink your eye and it's over. Well, how are y'all doing in class? How are things? Any questions to kick us off today?
Yes, sir. It's me, Anthony. I just have a question about the PowerPoint slide layout and everything and formatting for the PowerPoints. I know you have a little example of how it's done, but can you go a little bit more into detail about how you want the information put onto the slides?
Yes, absolutely. I will cover. That's a great question, and it's a really good segue. I will cover that our assignment too, so I will definitely go over that in detail tonight for sure. Matter of fact, that's one of the things we'll get kickstarted with is that just we'll jump into. I think after having a week and a half under your belt, well, everybody, and having at least a class so you get an idea of how the classroom is laid out and how to find stuff. So what I'll do is go ahead and jump into assignment number two, unless there's any other questions I can answer before I do that. All right, let's get cracking. Let me see here. Let me share my screen. All right. And I did, of course, grade all the discussions, and looks like I'm about halfway through on the assignments, so I will get them finished up tomorrow for sure. All right. All right. So this is a leadership style presentation, and what I do want to do though, go back to my word just a little bit. Let's see what we got here. Okay. Wanted to see what we had here in the way of information, planning decision making, or task list, learning outcomes. Okay, yeah, decision making. That is, yeah, leadership and decision making. Okay. And then this case study does talk about servant leadership, which is a really good leadership style. It's what I try to emulate as much as possible. All right, innovation and change, learning activity, go through problem solving. All right, and summary. Okay. And of course, Googling too provides definitely quite a bit of information on leadership styles as well. Um, okay, so motivation and leadership analysis. Choose a business leader, past or present, that you admire analyze their leadership style and how it impacts employee motivation, identify employee motivation. So analyze their leadership style. So what kind of style they have, servant leadership, command and control leadership, and a bevity of others. So once you know, analyze that, like, Elon Musk is always in the news, what kind of leadership style does he have? And that's the thing, like, um, you know, Google that. What kind of leadership style, does Elon Musk have? And then, get to understand that. And I just said Elon because he's always in the news, but it could have been, it could be anybody, or even uh, what's uh, man, dropped my mind. The leader, the CEO of Open AI. Help me out here, guys. Sam Altman. There we go. It'd be interesting to see what his leadership style is, as well. But anyway, so pick your leader, and I was just picking, a couple of leaders in business. It could be, a leader of, it could be your pastor. He's the leader of a church congregation if you go to church. Um, so choose a well, I guess it does say business leader, so maybe that would leave it out. But choose a business leader, past, present, they admire, analyze their leadership style and how it impacts employee motivation. So, a lot of times a command and control type of leadership style doesn't bode well for, employee motivation. Um, Identify the different theories of motivation and how they can apply to the leader you have chosen. So, again, identify the theory. Provide recommendations for how the leader could improve their leadership style to increase motivation. All right. So, any questions on that before I kind of go into the mechanics of, what needs to be pulled together?
No, sir. I'm all good on that part.
Okay. All
I'm
right.
good, Professor.
Great. Thanks, Stephen. All right. Let's see here. Okay, instructions. Create a professional PowerPoint presentation that addresses the following areas. Um, okay, 10 points. One slide each, 5 total. So what this is looking at your title, your title slide, table of contents, introduction, conclusion, reference. This right here is really, support, support. It's not the body of your presentation. Um, so then as we get into, all right, 10 points, slide appearance, sure the presentation reflects consistent formatting, colors, font type, font colors, use of images, models, and etc. So, what that means is, of course, and I'll bring up the presentation. When you're putting together a PowerPoint, it's, the fun thing about a PowerPoint is, because you can use different fonts or colors, or, maybe put in, an image of a model or graph. But it all still needs to flow, too often with PowerPoints that I get, there's different font types. The sizes are all, sized, are all out of proportion and different, and it's a hot mess. So we want to think about it. Um, and with the PowerPoint, and I know with this, you're not presenting verbally; you're just going to submit what you create. Or the PowerPoint, it serves as a backdrop to the message you want to convey, right? So, you don't bring up PowerPoint if you're giving a presentation to an audience type of thing, and then just read off it because they can read it. So you don't want a PowerPoint to distract from your presentation, what you want to convey. So that's the importance of why that slide appearance there. Speaker notes, 150 words for each content slide below. So, and I'll go through the speaker notes if you're not familiar with it. So that's why specifically for the content slides below. So what that means is you don't need speaker notes for these 5 slides you'll have here at the top. They'll just be the slide. Okay, minimum of 3 scholarly references, and then your content slides. So share. So as it would go, it would be table, title, table of content, introduction, and then you'd jump over to your content slides, then have your conclusion and reference slides, and we will look at that. All right. So share your understanding of the organizational culture the selected leader utilizes. So what kind of culture is the organization? The impact of their leadership style has on culture and employee satisfaction. How does planning and decision making impact performance? As the new chief of staff, so when you look at all that, pick a leader, do research on the styles, figure out everything. Then it's saying, hypothetically, right? As the new chief of staff, so you're going to analyze all this and then pretend you're hired there, right? As a new chief of staff, how would you advise the leader to improve their performance? And that, all that, um, the content and requirement dovetails into, the background. Okay. Any questions thus far?
The speaker notes is what I had the question about.
Yeah, we'll definitely be hitting that up.
Yeah, you already said you address
Yeah.
that. So
And then with these your content slides. So really, you would have one slide per each requirement below. I don't think you need more than one. I mean, you might, but I doubt it really. So content slides 1, 2, 3, 4, right? So ultimately, your PowerPoint's going to be about 9, maybe 10 slides long. I don't see it being any longer than that. Minimum 9, but not much more if that. All right. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring this one up here in actual PowerPoint format. Let's see here. And I should have had that ready to go. So that's my bad. Give me one moment. There we go. Okay. There we go. Okay. So this is a PowerPoint, but I put this in PDF format. It's what I attached, and also I think I use this one in the video. So this first slide right here is it's just kind of an overall how-to slide. It's not anything that you would you wouldn't look to create this. Really, these are the main sections of to consider for your PowerPoint, right? So your title, and we're going to go through all this slide by slide, but your title page and what you'd have on your title page, and then down below presentation content. So overall, you want title page, table of content, introduction, body, conclusion, references, which that's what the assignment also calls out. And then when you think about, the body of your presentation, it's gonna, hit the assignments, any citations, if you want to use model, graph, or table, conclusion, and then references. All right. So let me jump into the actual. Now, on this presentation, I made it really just pretty basic color combination, just a blue stripe with some crayons. Not you don't have to use that or follow that exact. That's just something kind of straightforward and clean that I had used. So you may have a favorite one. You can always use these up here if you want. One of the things just to be, careful of, is just like um, a busy slide, a lot going on. Like I'm color impaired. Like I can see color, but I don't always see the right color. And that's just something to think about too. So, when you're creating a presentation, if you can just be cognizant of that your audience may see things a little different. So, if you want to use like a chartreuse color on white or something, or in orange on yellow, for me that would be hard to see. So just food for thought. All right, let's get it going. And stop me, guys, anywhere if you have a question. All right, so title page. So what that is going to look like, assignment name, basically like your research paper you turned in, assignment name, student name, school, course number, course name, course number, my name. I wonder why I. All right. And then due date. All right. Okay. So, and then table of content. It's basically going to look like this, right? So if you think about it, table of content is going to be your introduction, your body, conclusion, and references. And so your body, if you think about it, is going to be so like if these are your, the content, the body of your presentation. So say share your understanding of the organizational culture the select the leader utilizes. So I would just copy this right here. Let's go back and say, one, and then what's the next one? The impact their leadership style has on culture and employee satisfaction. So I would say probably let's call the second one here. And one of the things not everybody knows, but although it's a little thing, but it does help. When you click on the A right here versus the other ones, or just hit paste, then it just brings in what you're copying, but leaves all the formatting out of it. So that is particularly helpful. Every once in a while, someone will that'll be new to them. All right, number three, how does planning and decision making impact performance? So why don't we just call this one planning and decision making? And if you all do something a little different, that's fine too. What I just want to art, kind of convey is, it's really when you're thinking about creating titles for your, the body of your presentation. That's pretty much what you need to do there. And why don't we just call this chief of staff? See, the great thing too is like when you're really super clear and align it to the body. So, and then when I grade your assignment, kind of like when you think about when I grade a research paper and you use the level one headers, which align with the assignment requirements, it makes it really easy for me to look and say, all right, did they cover the assignment requirements? Yes, they did. Okay, great. Now let's read it to see, how well they did. Okay, so your table of contents can look something like that, right? introduction, the body components. Now, typically in the workplace, you wouldn't say body components. You probably just, you could just have maybe say these slides right here like this, get rid of the body, something like that, right? And that's fine too, because ultimately you're calling out what your presentation is. So however you want to do it, this, um, uh, in a business presentation, it would really be more something like this. But either way is fine. All right. So then, we're going to go to introduction. Introduction is it's like an introduction on a research paper. There's no bullets. It's a paragraph. It's a normal introduction like you would on a research paper, and it's just 3 to 5 sentences. So whatever you write for your introduction, and then we get into the body, your first body slide, and this is where you're going to have your speaker notes as well. So on your first body slide, it's going to say because we're saying that one's organizational culture. We're going to come up here and just do a little bit of that, and now you have a title, and your slides should be like 4 or 5 bullets, something like that. In a slide, it's meant to be clean. It's a few bullets. Remember, it's your backdrop. You're not writing a paper and pasting it on your presentation. That's whiteout, like when you're in a snowstorm and there's so much snow on your windshield and the wipers are going and you still can't see anything. That's what it is when you put too much on a slide. So like 5 bullets, 4 or 5 bullets, and each bullet it's a bullet point. It's not a sentence or a paragraph. So each bullet you want like 9 words or so. Keep it to a bullet, and that's how you would format your slide. So put in your title, 4 or 5 bullets. Just be a bullet is up to 9 words or so, and then that's shaping what you want your slide to look like. Now, when we think about references, a little different than a research paper where you have a reference and you use it as an in-text citation and you specifically format it like an in-text citation. For here, whatever reference supports what you're talking about, just put the reference here, and that's fine. You don't That's all you need to do. So you're showing me, hey, here's the bullet. I got the speaker notes below, and this is the reference that supports this bullet. Excuse me, this page, and that's it. All right. So body page number 1 done, and then continue on. Right now, one another cool things too is like once you create your first body slide, one of the and there's a lot of times there's a lot of different ways to do something, but one way is kind of cool I like to do is once I get one set, then I like to right click on the slide over here and then hit duplicate like that, because then it just carries everything forward, everything, the cool formatting and everything you did. So all right, so body slide 1, and I'm not going to do all of them, but let's just create body slide 2, copy that, come on down. Let's highlight it, come over here and hit paste A. Boom, there's your title. And then etc. All right. So when we think about speaker notes, it's just right here. And ultimately, you can, go like this and stuff. Ultimately, this is you're gonna write at least 150 words, it's a minimum. Narrative that supports your research and what your slide bullets are. So if you think about it, like we're saying, if this was a presentation and you're going to give it to an audience, you got your PowerPoint up on the wall, and then you're going to narrate it, right? You're not going to sit there and read it and read your bullet points. It's going to be up there, and then you're going to narrate it. You're going to speak naturally, or strategically naturally, about what you're trying to convey. So that's really what the speaker notes here for when we're submitting, a PowerPoint for an assignment. Those speaker notes are, kind of the narrative that you would be, verbalizing and giving to an audience. So This slide is on organizational culture. You're going to tease out, 4 or 5 bullets or so, and then that support what the message you're trying to convey about culture and doing your research, and then the written format's going to be down here. So, it's just anything. I'm just going to copy this, copy that here, just to copy something, and then just paste it in there, and there's your speaker notes. All right. So I'm gonna continue on. So, like I said, with your body, you're gonna have, probably four. I don't think you'll need more than four. And then your conclusion, same formatting as your introduction. It's just a paragraph, just like you would do in a research paper. So, for me, I always did the introduction, conclusion last, put everything together, have all your content created, and then write an introduction that introduces the reader or your audience into, along with your table of content, what they're going to be in for. And then for me, the last thing I always did was take my conclusion, tweak the tense around, and take the introduction, tweak the tense around, and you got yourself a conclusion. I do not need to put introduction and conclusion, down here. Um, up here is fine. And then your references. Now, with your references, a little different, just a little different than a research paper, because we know per APA formatting, your references are in alphabetical order by author's last name. With doing a PowerPoint, a little different. You what you want to do is list your references in order that they appear in your presentation. And if you use one twice, like say your first content slide, you used a reference, and then your last content slide, you use the same reference. You don't need to put it in your reference section twice. Just put it in the order that you use it through your presentation. That way, like if you were giving this out at the workplace, then it's easier for a flow. It's easier for your audience to tick and tie things together. A couple other things you want us to be mindful of is a slide number. That's actually super important, and here's why. When you're given a presentation, like I said, got up on the wall, you're talking to your audience. Having a slide number makes it easy for your audience. Let's just say, it's one of those things where it's, okay, we're going to do the presentation and then hold all questions to the end, right? If you don't have a slide number, then, it's like your audience is either got to write down the whole title or the note or whatever, or if they're doing it in their head and they're like, what was that name of that title? What was the name of that, slide again? But it's real easy to remember. Oh, I got a question about slide 4, that kind of thing. So, and that is it. That is how you will create a PowerPoint presentation based on guidelines of APA formatting and just a lot of years of doing PowerPoints. So I'm going to stop talking and see if y'all have any questions or comments.
This is Anthony again, sir.
Yes.
I just want to let you know that you answered my questions. Everything was clear, and I understand everything now and what is to be expected in this assignment. So thank you.
Okay, great. Oh, go ahead, Wadsworth.
Oh, yes. So, yeah, you answered all the questions. I just wanted to hold on if we could have that discussion at the end of the class, if you have enough time.
Yes. Yes, I needed to get back to you on that one. Yeah, absolutely.
Thanks.
All right. Do y'all have experience with PowerPoint at much, or just curious?
Yes,
Yeah.
there's, and I have experience with PowerPoints, building PowerPoints presentations as a form of training individuals
Great.
While I was in the military. So, um, pretty extensive, I would say.
That's great. Well, hopefully what I've shared isn't too different than what you've been used to. Hopefully.
Not at all.
Oh, good. Always glad to hear that. It'd be out in left field.
Yes, I use it a bit too as well. I haven't used a lot of the speaker's notes apart from, when I would get a prepared presentation from somebody else, because I would always like do my notes either manually or on cue cards. But that's a good way to do it, especially if you have like multiple screens you could look off on.
Yeah, absolutely. That's speaker notes too. Um, like back in the day when I would give presentations to people in person. When I was going through school or was in the office, there was no remote. Speaker notes were cool because what I would do is I would go to, let's see, view, I think it is, go to view and hit your notes page. And then what I would do is I would put my speaker notes in here. And then I again, this was a while ago, but I would print this out, and then it'd be like those were just, and then highlight like some key points in there that I wanted to keep me on track. So that's would do that. And then yeah, like when you're doing a presentation and virtually, then having those speaker notes there with you, just what you wanted to convey, stuff like that. So it really is a cool function. All right.
Yeah, Professor, and also piggybacking off what you said earlier about not having the slides too heavy with words and too much information. Like early on in presenting, I saw that once I had a lot of words on the slides, persons would not focus on me and they would just keep reading the slides. And I read somewhere that the PowerPoint is really like to cue the speaker as opposed
Mm-hmm.
to having the audience read off of the slides. So that's when I started to use more, short bullet points, and also like I would have the headers and I would have the other pieces of text like coming in, when I click like flying in.
Yep.
So
Yep.
they would not read what I didn't want them to see at that time.
Yeah. Completely. And we all as an audience, we love just to read ahead. So if it's a bunch up there, the first thing we're going to do, we're like, person's over here talking, and it's going to be like, wah, 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 and we're reading the slides, because we're humans that way. So, all right. Well, that is what I had wanted to cover for this evening. I mean, I think it's pretty straightforward assignment. Um, any questions about what we covered, or any questions at all about anything in the classroom?
None.
Okay, great. All right. Well, we can go ahead and adjourn for the night. Then Wadsworth, I'm sorry, Stephen. What are you gonna?
Yeah, I think we need to talk before you hang up on a sidebar, if you can.
And I did. Yeah, we can do that. I did get your last message as well. All right. So let me stop sharing, and then I will stop recording as well.